thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate that. Now, you know, when you started your musical journey in the 70s, that was at the center of riots and racism. So how much did that time influence the music that you produced?
Well, it influenced a lot because we actually played at that first carnival in 1976 when the riot happened. And we had to go and hide in a club called Metro because we didn't know what was going on.
We were like first generation of youths who grew up from parents who came from West Indies and settled in England. And when we used to go dance halls and listen to music, we'd hear about certain things that happened. Man would talk about them things on record. So from us as a band starting in England, we tried to just talk about our lives here in England.
Drum and bass and house are both byproducts of reggae. How much recognition or credit do you take for that and for reggae being in UK households in the 80s and 90s?
It's hard to explain those things to youths now and tell them, say, well, this is where it came from. When we started out, we didn't have computers. So you had to be a musician. You had to learn your instrument, you had to be able to play. So when you listen to grime and all those things now, you're hearing all those things. But yeah, like you said, where did it all come from? Where did the idea come from? It's from reggae. Even if you say drum and bass, you can't say drum and bass without saying reggae music. It's impossible.
Now, your song Back to Africa, I feel like it reflected Marcus Garvey's repatriation ideal, where you kind of tried to, you know, encourage people in the UK to go back to countries where they will be a majority and where they wouldn't be exposed to so much racism or stereotypes. Do you feel like that sentiment is still relevant nowadays?
We grew up in England, went to school in England, so the history we learned in England was basically English history. So you didn't really know too much about your origins or where you come from. So yeah, being able to show the youths them, we all need heroes and people to look up to. As a youth, you want something to look up to see what you can strive for. And yeah, I mean, as youths, we were growing up listening to what was coming out of Jamaica and what was coming out of America. I mean, a lot of us grew up here in England and don't travel outside of England. And there's, you know, the world is a wide place.
But the message is still there.
Still the same.
Yeah, it's still relevant now.
Still relevant.
Yeah.
Now, in 1980, the legendary film Babylon, how much did that film contribute to, you know, what you guys were doing as well?
Yeah, Babylon, yeah, it was a landmark because there wasn't nothing that had depicted the English reggae scene or the English, how we call urban scene then. And in those days, there wasn't much. It was the sound systems.
And some of the records.
And some of the records then.
Free release and everything.
So Babylon came and really gave that picture, documented that picture of what used to go on in the reggae. Because we ain't got much.
46 was my number, man. Right now, someone else has that number.
I do wish you all the best, man. So thank you, Aswad. This reggae
I really
royalty.
appreciate you too, Star. We need more of this, see?
Yeah, we need more of this and more of this.
Yeah.